This week, we got strange things falling out of the sky in China. The internet has a new viral meme, and this girl's life will never be the same again because of it. Travis Scott got arrested. 2 astronauts now stuck in space thanks to Boeing. And North Korea is now building a wall. And the reason why is kinda scary. All of that and so much more, so we better get cracking. Okay, just a heads up, Alex got given $50 from Sheena in the last video, and instead of keeping it, he told me that he's gonna hide a $50 Amazon voucher code somewhere in this video with his funny editing for the first person who finds it. So thank you, Alex and Sheena, because I don't see any rules here that say I can't compete as well. So I will be getting a next day delivery on that second whip for all of you. Happy hunting. Okay, let's kick today off with something that I never thought I'd be saying. Rockets are literally falling from the sky in China. Now, what you're seeing is shocking footage of crowds of people running away as large debris from a rocket that China launched yesterday falls back down to Earth over a populated area. And the problem with this is it's not even the first time. There has been multiple cases of this thing happening in the past few years alone. And these falling rocket pods are a serious risk, not just by falling on top of people, but also the toxic chemicals that the rocket fuel releases. As you'd imagine, these uncontrolled reentries are being heavily criticized and are becoming a growing concern because China's space program is rapidly expanding. I mean, goddamn, just imagine that. Imagine just chilling in your house, you're eating dinner, and then okay, I honestly don't know if Alex is going to be able to pull that off, that editing, and it's going to look really lame if he just leaves it without any editing. You're eating dinner and then... Okay, let's talk about the Tuah girl. Because what has happened to her in the last week is, 1, why I love the internet so much, but 2, why it is so incredibly dangerous and can ruin your life. So these 2 creators called Tim and Dee go out on the streets and interview girls on nights out. Why? Well, because they're drunk, they obviously will say things that they wouldn't normally say if they're interviewed in the daytime. And that, of course, is great for virality. But I don't think either of them, in fact, no one could have anticipated what would have happened when they interviewed this one girl from Tennessee. Alex, play them the clip.
Leave a message to your last body.
I love you, Pookie, forever!
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that Tuah and spit on that thing, you get me?
Oh, now, do not ask me how or why certain random things like this catch on and become a meme. But when I tell you this caught on, I am not joking. I mean, I'm just assuming that you've seen this because every second post is the Tuah meme. And I mean, the first day I saw it, it started out with little funny memes like this one, like Stephen Tuah, or Tony Hawk Tuah, or Red Hawk down. Then things started escalating a little bit. You know, people started making hats. And then people in the replies were saying they can't wait to support others in the Tuah community. They are forming a community. Some of the t-shirts that people made read, if you don't want a Tuah, then I don't want a Tuah. People started getting AI to create songs about her.
The last thing I remember, she whispered, I love you, Pookie, forever. Now stuck with a memory.
And it's not just AI. People created this banger.
Oh, you gotta give that spit on that thing. Oh, you gotta give that spit on that thing. Spit on that thing. Spit on that thing. Spit on that thing. Spit on that thing.
I feel like I can lasso a cow.
Spit on that thing. Spit on that thing.
Woo! That's a bang. One more time. Okay, it's kind of sus dancing to that, but let me keep on showing you. Oh, okay. I thought that the songs were going to be over, but this one is by far my favorite. Alex, run it.
There was a phrase that struck a chord and took the internet by storm. A phrase for when she's spitting right onto you. A dude said this to these 2 chicks, what always brings
Okay, that's beautiful. I mean, I was potentially crying in some of those scenes, but Alex cut them out. Okay, what else? The hashtag #Tuah2024 is now trending, and they are saying that this girl brought the nation together more than any living politician could. Tuah for President 2024. People are getting tattoos of it. Multiple, as Alex is showing you. Painting, honestly, pretty incredible art pieces. I mean, we got one of the most famous WWE female wrestlers referencing it.
Liv, how you feeling?
Oh, I feel so good. I just gotta give this thing that good old spin on this thing and we're good to go.
And even Joe Rogan spoke about it last night.
Did you see the, you got a hawk tui spit on that thing, girl?
Oh, you gotta give him that and spit on that thing. You do.
You get me? You get me? I went away. Look at her laughing. She's laughing so hard.
Man, Joe Rogan's like 55, 56. So for him and his buddies to have heard about it, you know that shit has traveled far and wide. And I mean, the craziest thing about all of this is imagine actually being the Tuah girl right now. One day, you're just living a normal, regular life. You go out on a night out with your friends. You say some random shit while you're drunk. And then the next day, well over 100 million people now have seen you. And they're creating songs about you. They're painting pictures. They're getting tattoos of your face. And I mean, she probably doesn't even remember doing that interview. Now, I guess it doesn't really come as a surprise, but after this started going viral, she deleted all of her social media because I can't even imagine how many comments and messages she would have got. But of course, that didn't stop people from finding out what her real identity was. It's not just the Tuah girl. Her first name isn't Hawk, her second name isn't Tuah. But we won't be going into further detail into that front, for her sake. And if you're wondering, how is she dealing with all of this newfound fame? Well, she was actually seen signing hats, and by the look of her face when she was doing it, it looks like she's, taking it pretty well. So it's fair enough. She teamed up with a clothing company called Fathead Threads in Tennessee, and she's splitting the profits from all of the merch that they sell, which I'm imagining is quite a lot. There is a lot of people selling Tuah merch, but this is the only one where the proceeds actually go back to her. And I mean, even if she didn't want to be known for being the Tuah girl, she's making the most out of it, so fair play. The internet is still, by a large margin, unbeaten. So let's move on. Also this week, Louisiana became the first state in America to require that the 10 Commandments must be displayed in every public school classroom. Interesting. Now this legislation, which was signed into law on Wednesday, it requires that a poster-sized display of the 10 Commandments must be in a large, easily readable font in all classrooms from kindergarten all the way up to university. And hearing that, as you'd imagine, this new law, which comes into effect in January 2025, it's ruffled some feathers and split some opinions. Some absolutely love it. They say that it gives kids a moral guideline and that they're not just religious texts, they have historical significance too. But others hate it. In fact, opponents already said that they are vowing to sue the state, saying that it violates the separation of the church and the state and that it is blatantly unconstitutional. So I guess naturally, I wanted to do my own poll to see what people think. So on my Instagram, I asked people the question, do you think this is a good or bad idea? And just have a guess in your mind which way it swayed. Because if you reckoned that about 26% of people would think it was a bad idea, and 72% of people said it was a good idea, then you'd be correct. And just so you get the chance to put in your vote too, I'll do the same poll on YouTube.
Democracy.
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 Democracy!
But we must move on. Okay, now as a guy who is vertically challenged myself, this next story was very unrelatable. That's because this teenager is set to become the tallest player in college basketball history. Oh my God, just listen to this. 2 months ago, this 18-year-old named Olivier Rioux, well, he received the Guinness World Record for becoming the tallest teenager in the world at 7'7". Then, 2 months later, he now measures 7'9". Growing 2 inches in 2 months should be illegal. He was 6'1" at 8 years old, my God. Bro was taller than me at 8 years old. Oh, and he was also almost 7 foot by the time he was 12. So he was taller than pretty much everyone by the time he was 12, not just me. Now he's heading to college next year to play for the Florida Gators, at which point he will smash the current record to become the tallest college basketball player in history. But if he ever does make it to the top of the top, the NBA, he will obliterate that record too. That's because the tallest player to ever play in the NBA was 7'7". Bro is 7'9" at 18. He's probably gonna be 8 foot plus by the time he reaches there. Insane. If you wanna keep your eyes on him, his name is Olivier Rio. But let's move on. Okay, also this week, Travis Scott got arrested, which I guess was kind of ironic because it was only 2 days after Justin Timberlake got arrested for kind of similar things. Both had to do with alcohol. In a nutshell, he was on a yacht in Miami, and because he was drunk and rowdy, the owner of the yacht told him to get the hell off. Now he did so, but he then started yelling and cussing out the owners from the dock. Police were called and they told him just get the hell out of here. And that should have been the end of it. But 5 minutes later, Travis Scott decides to come back and cause the same disturbance. He was arrested and booked into a Miami jail at about 4:30 in the morning. He submitted a $650 bond and was released that day. His mugshot went mega viral. And then I guess to make his $650 back tenfold, he used AI to put a smile on his mugshot and then put it on a t-shirt and sold it for $35 a pop. Well played. So I guess the question is, which mugshot will become more iconic in the years to come? 73% on my Instagram voted Travis and 27% voted Justin. Moving on! And we're moving on to the whip list. Okay, everyone, this is your one and only chance to like and comment and save yourself from becoming just another whipling. So, for starters, the video got a total 75,000 views as of recording, but only 3,000 people liked it and 639 people commented. So Alex, put those people in the I love you concentration camp. Okay, let's not talk about concert. Put those people in the I love you camp, and everyone else, put them here. Put them right here. Where's my whip? You are getting a beating today. You watched and you didn't like, this is what you get. In fact, you get 2 whippings today. I'm feeling generous. And second one, bring him back up. Bring him, get the hell back up. 70,000 people. Yeah. You better like and comment because you don't want to end up like them. Now, I know that I did say that the 639 people that commented were safe, but some of them actually, they probably commented and didn't like because of the nature of their comments. Harley Smith 71 said, are we not going to talk about the fact that him not actually being able to crack the whip? I don't think he would be able to whip me without the sound effect. First of all, Alex, I cannot believe that you put that whip in there without the sound effect. Second of all, put a major one on this, Alex. Harley Smith, put him there. You don't speak to us like that. Oh. They're pretty robust nowadays, okay? Pro2 Stinger said, you can't whip me, I'll just jump out the way. Alex, do not do me dirty on this one. He cannot jump out the way. You're getting the heavy end of the whip. Oof. I don't know if you saw that or if it was too dark, but that really rebounded into my side. Oh, this is kind of ironic. Never did I think that the whippings would come back to me. You guys cannot find strength in that. I was gonna move on, but then I saw this. Monkey with Annie said, I have a shield to block your whip, boy. Why you gotta do this? Huh? No, you don't. My whip is all-powerful. Oh, here we go, another one. Like, first of all, do not question how the Empire treats its citizens. Yam Jangaboo, Alex, are you safe there? Blink if this boy has been been abusing you lately. Do not question how the Empire treats its citizens. Put him there. Put him there, Alex. Yeah! Never disrespect in the comments. Moving on. Also in the past couple of days, Bugatti released their first all-new car design in over 8 years. And oh my lord, was it worth the wait? Now, before I tell you the price, just listen to how they cooked on this one. Chef's kiss. It's called the Tuah. No, it's not. What the
corn casserole
does that even say? It's called the tourbillon, and it can hit a staggering 445 kilometers per hour. Alex put what that is in miles. And that's thanks to its entirely redeveloped engine infused with a number of Formula One derived technologies. But Bugatti reckoned that the 1,000 horsepower that it produces just wasn't enough. So they just decided to casually add 3 additional electric motors that contribute an additional 800 horsepower, bringing the total to 1,800. That should be illegal. Oh, and because it's a hybrid, it can also switch purely to electric mode and just glide smoothly down those, inner city streets, which you just get taxed the
corn casserole
out of if you have a diesel or something. The suspension is completely 3D printed out of aluminium or aluminum, and its aerodynamic design was inspired by the Falcon. And all of this gives it these performance figures, which I think it does 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. I mean, I've been in a Tesla which does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, and I cannot comprehend a second quicker than that. It feels like a roller coaster. Oh, man. Now let's move on to its interior, because it only gets better. For starters, Bugatti said that they weren't going to be satisfied with this design unless someone could look at it in 100 years' time and still feel like it wasn't outdated. That's pretty massive, and that is why the only digital display that it has is completely hidden inside this crystal glass covered center console. But with a push of the button, it comes out and you can connect your phone to it and you can see all the vehicle data. Its speed gauges are entirely analog and were created by Swiss watchmakers. And so that it doesn't move, the steering wheel is fixed to the back, so it creates this cool, floating or hovering effect. Now, all of this for the price. Let's talk about it. Only 250 of these will ever be made, and all of them have already sold out before it was announced. I mean, who's got the hookup? And they sold for $4.6 million each. Now, to be fair, it is probably hands down the most beautiful car I have ever seen. If you think there's something more beautiful, let me know in the comments, but I don't see it. What is nicer than this? But yeah, until I have a spare $4.6 million lying around, let's move on. Okay, now I know that we talk about them a lot on this channel, but why the hell is North Korea now building a border wall? Yes, this is true because according to new satellite images, North Korea is building something that resembles a wall. I can't say for certain, but let's be honest, it's probably a wall, in several places near its border with South Korea. Now, it is not clear when they started this unannounced project, but as you can see from these images here that Alex is showing you, it's not visible, and they were captured in November 2023. So sometime between then and now. Now, here's what's really interesting about this, because although North and South Korea are technically still at war, having never signed that peace treaty, reunification has always been the publicly stated goal for Mr. Kim Jong-un. But at the beginning of this year, for some reason, everything changed. For the first time ever, he announced that reunification was no longer going to be a possibility. He changed the constitution to designate South Korea as the principal enemy, and that if war broke out, it should reflect the issue of occupying, recapturing, and incorporating the South into its territory. That's very different to reunification. He shut down 3 organizations dealing with reunification. He simulated nuclear strikes on the South. He called for a buildup of the country's military arsenal, held live fire exercises close to the South's territory, sent close to 1,000 balloons across the border that had contained human waste and trash, and then most recently became best friends with Mr. Putin, also signing that critical agreement that we spoke about last week, which basically provides mutual help to each other in the event of aggression against either of them. Oh, and now we've got a wall too. It seems like they've been busy since the beginning of this year, and we don't know exactly why. I guess we know that tensions between the West and, the BRICS nations have been escalating. But this is intense. So I guess the question to you guys is this just classic North Korea bluffing and fear-mongering? Or should the risk of escalation be taken very, very seriously? Because let's be honest, North Korea, South Korea kickoff, that drags in the US, that drags in the UK. I'm probably gonna get drafted. These videos are gonna stop. I'm gonna have to take my whip to the front of the battlefield. I laugh, but the fact that we're talking about this with a potential serious, even if it's like 1% possibility, the fact that it even has that is insanity. Either way, I'm tired of talking about this. Let's move on. Okay, now our last story of the day is wild. Engineers are now in a race against time as 2 astronauts are currently stuck in space after the return trip back to Earth was delayed for the 3rd time yesterday. There's a lot of places. I mean, this kind of reminds me of the Titanic sub situation. I don't know whether I'd like to be stuck in space or stuck at the bottom of the ocean. That's a really good question. Would I rather be stuck in space or at the bottom of the ocean? I'd like to be stuck in space, I think, because at least it's like if you do die, you get to die in space. I guess that's kind of cool. Yeah, the ocean around me would be a little bit like, damn. Yeah, nah, I'll be in space. Anyway, the astronauts were supposed to have returned home from the International Space Station on June the 13th. Yes, I said space station. I don't care. But multiple mechanical issues have since occurred with Boeing's Starliner spacecraft, including 5 thrusters that abruptly stopped working on the way there and 5 separate helium leaks. Boeing, why? You couldn't just keep your problems on Earth? You just had to take them into space. We really got intergalactic blowing. Fuck. We really got intergalactic Boeing problems before GTA 6. Woo! Now experts say that these problems that they're facing aren't exactly showstoppers. That's good to hear. And hopefully both astronauts should be able to return home soon. But they also kind of put that with a side of the capsule does have limited fuel, which leaves them about a 45-day window to return home safely. Fantastic. In the absolute worst case scenario, death. No, that to be fair, that is the absolute worst case scenario. But in the other worst case scenario, they will have to wait until Elon Musk's spacecraft makes it to the International Space Station in August. That's a hell of a long trip for something that was supposed to last 1 week. Woo! Anyway, I will keep you updated as this continues, but until then, I will see you on Monday. Wait, no, is today Monday? What day is today? Is it Wednesday? Thursday? Oh, no, sorry. I will see you on Thursday. I love you. We made it to another end of the video. Like and comment. Woo!